Hey, what's happening, everyone? It's Saturday. You know what that means. Time for another excruciatingly awesome episode of ABW Detonate right here on YouTube. I am the old school AB, being joined once again by the Bard of the Boiler Room, the Deacon of Distressity, the Pontiff of Pain himself, the one and only Kind Man. How are you doing today, buddy?
I am doing great down here in the steamy boiler room.
The steamy boiler room. We have a lot of great stuff to talk about today. Boiler room is notwithstanding. Look at who has the World Heavyweight Prediction Championship title belt. Look who has it. It's none other than the Kind Man himself. That thing is gorgeous.
It is. It's very nicely crafted.
It all the way from the faraway land of China.
Like everything else.
Right? Oh, boy. No, it looks really good on your shoulder, but I want you to know that I'm coming for it. Royal Rumble.
No, but luckily, you're not coming for it until the next, until the Royal Rumble. So I got it through the holidays.
That's right. You got to train. You can't relax. You're going to have to train all through the holidays.
You can never relax.
Because I'm coming.
And I have some ideas on because it is a prediction belt.
Yeah.
We do have to change up a little bit how we did the Royal Rumble.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
It was more. I still think we do evens and odds, but I think we also pick a few people to actually win for bonus points. And obviously we'll be predicting the other matches anyway. So they'll be.
Oh, you know what would be great is if we picked our final four.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Something like that.
Sure. Yeah. I dig that idea.
Yeah.
Fucking A, dude. Yeah, so I look forward to challenging for that championship once again. By the way, have you seen the inscriptions on the inside where I ticked all of my victories thus far?
Yeah, you're gonna have to message me what type of utensil you did that with, so I can start on mine.
It was just a silver Sharpie.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what I figured.
Yeah, just a silver Sharpie, easy enough.
Okay. Yep.
But yeah, fantastic. We have a lot of great wrestling to catch up on today, including some stuff from Tribute to the Troops, and I want to cover a little bit of stuff on the AEW side. And later on, we're going to do another Kind Man top 5 list, and our last top 5 list went over really well, so we figured we're going to do the same thing again, and we'll find out what that is here shortly. Let's get back to the top of the key, though. The first thing I want to discuss is over in AEW, and I know we don't spend a lot of time talking about AEW lately, so I think it's time that we do, because there's a lot of things happening over there, not just the Continental Classic, right? Right now there's a huge wrestling mystery over there, and it all centers around MJF, right? And for those who are not in the know, MJF has worn the devil mask on occasion when he wants to be, incognito, or when he wants to be especially devious. That's kind of his gimmick, right? And now somebody else has donned this devil's mask and is going around beating the hell out of him and his, friends, quote unquote, right? And the big mystery is who is the devil? And I've got a couple of ideas on who I think it might be. But I want to get Kind Man's first impressions on this. What do you think? Who do you think it is, first of all, and why?
Well, so first of all, I'm still getting to know the AEW roster at a level. So I'm not quite sure. And I'm trying to remember if this person has ever been seen at the same time as the masked people. So if the answer doesn't make sense, don't blame me. I can't even think of his name right now, but you will have it very quickly. The guy in the wheelchair.
Oh, yeah, Roderick Strong. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's my first thought process, but it may be too obvious because he's upset that MJF is such good friends with Adam, and so it may be too obvious, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
But that's the guy that comes to mind. because he has a little following. So when they have multiple masked people and everything, it could be them. But I am going to have to start paying more attention to the circumstances around when that devil shows up, so I can have a better answer moving forward.
Yeah, yeah, and it's tough, right? Personally, between you and me, I don't think that a lot of these wrestling surprises go over very well when they're finally revealed. And the problem with that is you do such a good job of building it up, and you build such a mystery or such an aura around, the specter of who it could be. And by the time you see it, sometimes it's a huge letdown. Case in point, and maybe you don't agree with this, Mr. Kind Man, but do you remember when Vince turned out to be the higher power?
I do.
Boy, did that suck. Boy, did that suck. That was just like somebody letting a hot air out of a tire just all at once, just flat. I'm sorry. Did you think that was a great? Maybe you thought that was a great segment.
No, I didn't think it was great. No.
Okay.
And I know that the beauty of us chatting about this stuff is we very often disagree.
Yeah.
But I would disagree with you here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the other night we were talking. I think you were saying something positive about Bobby Lashley, and I was just like, oh my God, such a snore.
Man, Bobby Lashley doesn't age. That guy looks exactly the same.
Body wise. I'm just saying, like, character and.
Oh yeah, well.
I mean, they got him leading the Street Profits, and he just, please stop on the microphone.
He's not terrible. Okay, he's not great, but he's not terrible. I've seen a lot worse.
I would like my leader of factions or my mentors that are leading a group to be a little bit better on the microphone than fucking Bobby Lashley.
You would think that would be the case, yeah. And there's a lot to be said for that, but yeah. Or they get put with a faction, or they get put with a manager.
He's no Harvey Whippleman, let's put it that way.
Downtown Bruno, Harvey Whippleman. Golly, he wasn't that bad on this thing. I didn't think he was all that good, to be honest. He wasn't bad. The one I didn't understand, who was it? You said Harvey Whippleman, was when they had Kamala out there, was Kimchi, because he never said anything. He wore a mask and had a hat and didn't do anything. He just stood there and was like, hey, 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 hey. He mimed everything. So I don't understand, Kimchi. That guy got a paycheck for doing fuck all. But yeah, no. Anyways, back to the topic. Wrestling surprises are rarely a good thing. I could think of maybe a handful of wrestling surprises that actually worked. One of which, Hulk Hogan becoming the third member of the NWO, which almost got ruined, by the way. I don't think it was on purpose, but Heenan, his call that night was somewhat questionable, saying, oh my, whose side is he on? Well, if you're teasing it before he gets to the ring, you kind of take some of the steam out of it, but anyways, enough about that. Wrestling surprises. Let's hope that this one turns out to be better than the previous installments of wrestling surprises in the past.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What would constitute for you a great success in this story as far as the surprise?
I would, you know what? That's a really good question. And you kind of hit me in the solar plexus a little bit with that question because I wasn't expecting it. But that's a good thing, right? Because it kind of puts me on my toes. If I was fantasy booking this thing, right? I would actually make the devil somebody that is a friend of MJF's, so that it makes sense to, when you're turning on him, that it just has a little more of an oomph. I think, and I could be wrong, but the only guy you could conceivably, convincingly put behind that mask, in my humble estimation, Adam Cole. But he's out with an injury. So how do you do that? This is why I say, when you plan for these wrestling surprises, they very rarely go over well because things happen, people get injured, anything could happen to screw
And
these
that,
long-term plans up.
and the person behind the mask has been physical,
They have been,
So
yeah,
if Adam Cole's hurt, like legitimately, out,
yeah.
um, that would be hard to do. But
Well, they
that
can
was
get
certainly
somebody else to go under the hood for him. I mean, he doesn't
sure.
have to be the
Oh,
one
that
under the
he's
hood,
calling the shots. You mean
right? But he's calling the shots,
right? Okay.
So yeah, yeah. Now the other thing you could possibly do, and maybe this is kind of a long shot, as have the devil wind up being MJF himself, which would be a huge letdown.
But they've
Um,
already
but
they've brought that up on the
right,
show, so
right, right,
they're not.
right, right. Yeah. So, I mean, aside from those two things, I don't think it's going to be Roderick Strong. I don't think it's going to be Matt Taven or anybody in that stable. Um,
I
I don't.
just like you say, it would be best if it was a MJF friend.
Yeah.
I find him a fascinating character because he is a good guy and a bad guy all at
Oh
once.
yeah.
And I think they've actually, I think they're way too aggressive with him right now.
Oh, they are.
Uh,
Yeah.
they're,
That's
they're they're having him fight every freaking show
yeah.
and getting attacked by all these different people to the point where you need Samoa Joe to step up to be his bodyguard just
Right.
to get him to the next pay-per-view. I think they're beating him up too much. Like I
Yeah.
think you got to lay off like every show MJF having to fight a number one contender quality.
Mm,
Um, give the guy a break. I mean,
yeah.
look at freaking Roman Reigns right now. The guy doesn't even show up. He shows up like once every 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It's just call Roman Reigns. Well, you wouldn't have to if fucking Roman was at
Right.
SmackDown.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think MJF is injured right now too. So he's working hurt,
Yeah,
which that's a double whammy. I don't wish that
I think he's
upon
working
anybody.
hurt because of what I just said.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I don't think Tony Khan feels like he has any other option at this point. That's his biggest star.
Yeah,
You know.
and he is a star.
Oh, he
There's,
is. He is
there's no
absolutely
doubt about it.
billion%.
I still don't know what he is though. I mean, is he a bad guy that the crowd loves, or is he?
He's a
You
good
know,
guy. So yeah, you're right. He's a heel that the fans love. That's probably the best way to put it.
yeah,
Yeah, he's like Stone Cold back in the '90s.
yeah,
He was a heel and he never changed. It was just the fans liked him because he just kicked ass.
yeah. But I never viewed Stone Cold as a heel.
Really, that's how he was brought into the company.
Oh yeah, brought in, but the majority of his career, he just didn't change who he was. Like
Right,
he
right,
was a badass.
right, right. But
By
I
the
think
way,
yeah,
there's a fascinating interview I heard out there with him talking about his the creation of Stone Cold Steve Austin
yeah,
and why and how it happened and why his previous characters failed. And finally he just said, "Hey, listen, I'm a football player, I'm a brawler. I think at one point they tried to make him like a technical wrestler, like
yeah,
long time ago.
yeah,
And he just said, no, that wasn't gonna happen. And he said, I just decided to become myself.
yeah, yeah. And it's amazing.
That was and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, and it's amazing, how many people, if this is just a testament to how industry has changed in the last 30 years, even. But, back in the day, if you weren't yourself, if you couldn't cut a promo by yourself, if you didn't have anything interesting about you, you didn't have a look, you didn't last long in this business.
Yeah.
Now it's just full of kids. I look at them, they're just kids to me, but it's full of these kids, right, who are acting, and that's a conversation for another show. Anyways, I think we both have an idea who we think the devil is going to be, and I want to move on from this topic to another one. We kind of touched a little bit on it. Tribute to the Troops. It was a fun show last night. I really dug it. It needed more R-Truth. It really did. it needed more CM Punk. In fact, if the show was just R-Truth and CM Punk trading promos in the ring for the 2 hours, I would be on cloud nine.
Yeah, I tend to disagree on that. And I had a very interesting watch of SmackDown last night.
Oh yeah,
because these billionaire fuckheads at DirecTV and whatever the name of the parent company that handles all of the local Fox affiliates and everything are feuding again. And I don't have access to Fox anymore. So the twats are called Tegna, Tegna, which is a multi-billion-dollar broadcasting company that no one knows the name, but they're a multi-billion-dollar broadcasting company holding up all these other people, making DirecTV have to raise rates because they want double-digit increases every contract. So I called up DirecTV and I said, I would like you to comp me Fox Deportes because of this fight. And they did. And I watched SmackDown last night in Spanish.
Did you try to change the closed caption so it would be English at least?
It was not available.
Oh,
I put on the closed caption and I realized that they did not understand the ask because closed caption was in Spanish. So it was fine though. You still hear all the wrestlers talking in English. You still hear, but the only annoying part was the announcers are translating what the wrestlers are saying. So they're kind of talking over them.
Yeah.
But I got the gist. I got the gist. I watched the show. Shows my commitment to our audience.
That's right. That's right.
I could have just turned tail and not watched.
That's right. These are the sacrifices we make for you.
Yeah. I just got to remember that after, in the next 30 days to cancel it, or I got to pay $25 next month for Fox Deportes.
Oh, that would be awesome. By the way, I am drinking coffee out of a wine glass. I don't want people to look at this video and think, what is he having a cocktail at, this hour of the morning? No. It's just
no, that's me.
Yeah,
that's more me. And by the way, audience, you want to talk about sacrifices for you? I would be drinking right now, but this mask makes that very clumsy to drink a gin and tonic with a Mankind mask. So
you need one of those curly straws, one of those long novelty curly straws. That'd be great. Anyways, I think, was there anything else I wanted to talk to? Oh, you know what? There was something I wanted to bring up with regards to the tribute to the Troops show. And it's not just the tribute to the Troops show. It's WWE in general. And I've noticed this, but have you noticed sometimes their crowds are super muted and other times it's like everything is turned up to 11 and there's this weird squealy pitch wave that sounds like they're rapidly turning microphones off and on, which is what I suspect they're doing because they're trying to control crowd reactions. Is that something that's been there for a while now?
I have not noticed that, but what I have noticed in broadcasting, especially since streaming has become a thing, a lot of the streaming companies struggle with sound.
Yeah,
and I don't know why. Like for example, the sound on Amazon. So Amazon, the sound on Amazon for Thursday Night Football is off. I'm watching things where I'm hearing the crowd reaction before it happens in sports things in various streaming. So I think just sound quality as a whole has been down, but you're talking about them doing this intentionally.
Yes, I think they're doing it intentionally because you can hear the crowd cheering like they're loud as hell, but it sounds very quiet and muted. And then they'll have the microphone, they'll turn it up, and the crowd silence, or the crowd noise will die back down to silence. But I don't know. I almost think it's like crowd control. Like they're trying to control the narrative of what the crowd wants. Which,
that's hard to do.
Well, it is hard to do. And it's one of the reasons why I stopped watching WWE 4 or 5 years ago. Again, we'll tackle that in another show. I have a whole lot to say on a topic like that, but
I would also
anyways,
say tribute to the troops that I enjoy tribute to the troops a lot more.
yes,
They do it on a base, on a Marine base, on a
same
naval
here.
base, an Army base, where it's just now. I think they did do a great job of making sure, you know, suited military were in the crowd all over, and the
Yeah,
one advantage they had is a lot of them had their children there,
yeah,
um, which was cool. I always like to see the kids, enjoy it. But there's something about like the base, being on a naval aircraft carrier or, whatever the case may be. Um, I always liked that
yeah,
better. And I thought they had a great opportunity yesterday to make this a bigger event and almost make it kind of like a premium live event and bring it to Gillette Stadium in Massachusetts, 60,000 people, because today is the famous Army Navy football game
yeah. Right.
for the first time at Gillette Stadium. So um, you have people there ready for that game. It's one of the most passionate football games you will ever watch in your life. It doesn't even matter if either team is good. There's not a game in all of sports that that the people playing care more about than that match. So you get a lot of passion, a lot of you just American pride watching that football game. It's not even good football, but it's
Yeah,
proud to be an American.
right.
Um,
You're not there to watch
I thought
scoring.
I thought they could have piggybacked that and done the
Yeah,
event there. I'm not. Now it would have been cold as hell.
yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
some heaters around the ring.
yeah. I don't know what it would take to get them to turn Tribute to the Troops into a PLE. I think they used to do something akin to that where they made it a special. Um, but now it's just an episode of SmackDown.
I didn't even need it to be a PLE. I just
Right.
because if it's going to fit 50, 60,000 people, you got to make it a special
Oh,
card.
sure you do. Yeah.
That's what I meant by that. It doesn't have to be they don't have to name it. I mean, it just could be
Right.
tribute to the troops on
Yeah.
Friday Night SmackDown.
No,
But
no, I don't. No.
you had an hour and you put a top-notch card in.
Yeah, no, I don't think you do it as a SmackDown. I think you separate it. I think you're right. You segment that off. Tribute to the Troops. If you're going to do it and do it right, there's only one main event is fitting that will draw 60,000 people to the Gillette Stadium, and that is R-Truth versus CM Punk for the Universal Undisputed WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Oh God. No.
That is a main event with Charles Robinson as the referee.
Oh, well, you have to have Charles.
Yeah.
Robinson.
Well, Little Nate.
That guy is must-see TV. I can't take my eyes off it. You got two beautiful women in the ring last night, and I'm just watching Charles Robinson. Put his hands to the side of his head when something happens, like
Yeah.
his shocked face, like and then like what one woman is chopping the other woman above the chest, and he's wincing each time they hit. He is the best.
Yeah,
That
he sells it.
that dude is that is a WWE rep. That is the GOAT.
Yeah.
WWE reps.
He really helped sell it. He really
He's
helped
so
sell
funny. So funny.
it. Speaking of which, I want to take that as a lead in to your top 5 list for this week. And I think we're going to keep doing top 5 lists. Again, that was very well received. So we're going to keep doing top 5 lists. In fact, if you have a request for an upcoming top 5 list, leave it in the comments below, right down there, and we will get the kind man straight on it. But this week, we are going to, again, piggyback off of last week's success. Last week, it was Kind Man's top 5 women of wrestling currently. This week, it's the Kind Man's, let me see how I can say this. Kind Man's top 5 cocktail hour ladies of all time. Now, this is a list which Mr. Kind Man has put together that includes the top 5 women he would like to have a cocktail with at a cocktail hour in a bar of some type of his choosing.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, kind man, I'm going to turn it over to you. Is this going
Yeah.
from 5 to 1, right? This is going from the
Five to
bottom
one.
to all the way to the
Yeah.
top,
So
right?
yeah. So the idea behind the list is last week we did the current. This week is all time, and I know we didn't do the cocktail hour last week, but I didn't want to do a top 5 women of all time. I wanted to put a little spin on it. But what we're going to do with these lists is one week it's going to be current, and the next week it'll be all time
Yeah.
of the same subject.
Yeah.
So my top 5, and these are a lot of combinations. I like these women as wrestlers. I think they're just beautiful ladies. They seem like a lot of fun. They seem like, having a cocktail with them would be a good time. But I'll just kick it off. And number 5 is an interesting wrestler because she actually had a lot of longevity
Hmm.
in the WWE. She wrestled over 15 years and just recently stopped wrestling. But in 15 years, she only held 2 titles. She was the Diva champion once, and she was the 24/7 champion once. And other than that, she was not highly decorated, but she was very involved in storylines. And I find her extremely athletic. I think she is absolutely gorgeous, and I would love to have a cocktail with Alicia Fox.
Oh yeah. I kind of when you started telling me there was 2 titles, I knew instantly who you were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I knew that
So,
one instantly.
yeah, in 15 years, that's a
That
long
is.
career. She was around and she stunned. She was stunning for 15 years in the WWE, and I would love to have a cocktail with Alicia Fox.
Very good.
Uh, Number 4, there's a lot of reasons why I would love to have a cocktail with this lady. Um, she came in to the storyline of WWE with a tie-in to my favorite wrestler, The Undertaker.
Hmm.
I would like to have a cocktail with her for numerous reasons. I do think she's beautiful. But I also would love to have business conversations with this WWE person because I value her very much and I follow her business career because she is a very smart woman. And I would love to have a cocktail with Stephanie McMahon
All right.
because of that. Obviously she came in, being kidnapped by the Undertaker, and she was younger, and then she found some plastic surgery and blossomed in front of our very eyes. Um, and not a lot of in-ring stuff, but she did have some. But just as far as a businesswoman, she is highly respected in the business world. And for all intents and purposes, a brilliant um business mind. So I would love to have a cocktail with Stephanie McMahon.
Look out for trips.
Number 3, or no, yes, number
Yeah, we're
3,
on 3. Yeah.
one of the most athletic, high-flying, um, I would never classify her as quote unquote my type, but something about her just drew me to her. She seems like a ton of fun. She's not the type of person I would typically go out for a cocktail with, but I think that difference in personality and anything would be a blast. And I would like to have a cocktail with Lita
All right.
because I'm not kind of the rocker person like maybe you are, AB. I'm not like her style. I don't think she would pick me to go out to have a cocktail with. Um, but
Probably not.
but I would love to have a cocktail with Lita.
Nice. Nice
And
choice.
number 2 was one of those few women when I was very young. So this is a long time ago. Start to get you to understand you're transitioning from boy to man when you see this person. And she was probably the first woman in wrestling that I was like, oh my gosh, she's stunning. I was like, what is this feeling I'm having right now? Because I haven't had it before. Um, and she was amazing. She was a manager, not necessarily an in-ring performer. But Miss Elizabeth, I would love to have a cocktail with.
Yeah.
When I was a young boy, she was just when she came on the screen, it was just staring. And and obviously I loved Randy Savage too. So the two, when you heard that dun, 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 when you heard the beginning of the
Yeah.
Randy Savage movie, I was like, all right, Miss Elizabeth is here. And and at the time, I would not have been able to ask her out for a cocktail because I was
No.
underage. So today I
Right.
would do.
Right. Oh yeah, that's a solid choice.
Yeah.
Um,
And number one,
yes, sir.
I think this is going to be a surprise for some people. And I am going to further introduce this women's superstar that had me on the edge of my seat every time her music played. I'm going to start off by playing her music. So, AB, I ask you, because this might be a little bit off. Now that you've heard 15 seconds of her intro music, can you tell me who is my number one female wrestler of all time that I would be over the moon to have a cocktail with?
Oh, you're gonna be so mad. I didn't hear anything, dude.
You guys didn't hear that sound?
No, I didn't hear anything. It was dead
Oh,
silence.
awesome. What an awesome production
I
that
know,
was.
right? We have nothing but the highest production quality here on this show. I apologize, but no,
I'm wondering why that didn't come
I
across.
don't know.
If you saw me, I was rocking.
I know I
I was
saw you
dancing
dancing
around.
over there, and
I
I'm
heard it
like,
all.
yeah, but I didn't hear it, so I didn't hear any clips. So we're gonna
Okay.
have just a little bit of
Okay. Well,
silence there,
the
but
name. So, by the way, everyone,
anticlimactic. But
you can
now,
thank the Klein man for 15 seconds of dead air. So, for wasting your time.
I kept waiting to see if there was gonna start, and I was like, oh, no, I'm not gonna hear anything.
Okay. Well, I heard it in full effect here. Um, and by the way, I have a bubble on my screen that says set up professional audio in audio settings right now. So maybe Zoom picked up on the fact that no one heard that except for me. So I'll give everyone the name. I'll give you the name of the song, and then you can tell me. And we don't always know the name of the song, but this one might be a clue. The name of her intro song is Paparazzi. All right, and to avoid
Melina.
more, yes, that is correct.
All right.
Melina.
So and by the way, if you'd have played the music, I would have gotten it
Oh,
right
you
away.
would have. Okay.
Oh yeah, easily. But
Yeah.
yeah, as
So
soon as I had to think about that for a minute. I'm like, theme song names, paparazzi. Aha. But
yeah.
yes.
So she was, and it's funny when later, probably like 10 years ago, when she came out with John Morrison, my wife
Mhm.
doesn't watch wrestling, but
Right.
my wife absolutely loved John Morrison, and I absolutely love Melina. And we came to the conclusion that if it ever comes where the four of us cross paths, that we both have a pass.
You both got a hall pass, right?
Yeah, we both have a pass for that. So Melina is my number one all-time
Right.
WWE women's superstar. I would love to have a cocktail.
Wow. Wow. Nice job, buddy. Nice and great list, by the way. I have to say, I agree with a great many of your picks. I mean, they're gorgeous women.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I have. If I was to pick my one person off that list, that would be my number one. Actually, would be Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I mean, of all time, yeah, it's got to be her. She was absolutely gorgeous, and better than gorgeous. It was not just she was good looking, but she was poised, and she had grace, and she had a sense of style about her. She was just great. She was just great. I can't say, and it's so sad what happened to her. But
Yeah.
again, I don't want to get into the negative stuff. We'll have negative episodes later, but yeah. So great. Thank you very much, Mr. Kindman, for that list. Another fantabulous top 5 list as always.
And what I'm thinking for next time,
Right?
and this is the I have one question for you on this.
Me. Okay.
Because I have I would like to do next, unless we have any better, and we have had some people comment in our Discord server and around asking for certain lists. So please put it in there. I was thinking for next time, the top, and this is my question for you. I want to do the top submission holds.
Oh, nice.
All time and currently. My question for you is, when I started thinking about current, there wasn't a lot to come mind to say, there were a few, but like is it down? Are submissions down in the current world of wrestling right now?
I don't know if they're down as much. Maybe they're not being used as much or utilized by booking committees as much. It depends on.
But it's almost as if people have submissions, but it's not their finisher.
Right.
Like sometimes it works. Sometimes, like I think I saw John Moxley do a submission that ended a match recently, but I don't think that's known as his finishing move.
No, it isn't. No.
Right. No. So that's like, back in the day, you knew, like, that's their finisher.
Right. I think I see what you're saying now. Yeah, I think what you're really talking about is this transition away from using like a single, telegraphed finisher, where, look, on the occasion, Mox could beat you with a submission. On occasion, anybody could beat anybody with a submission. I think everybody has a submission move in their arsenal now because of that.
Sure, but I don't like, when I started thinking of the list, it was really hard because I was like, okay, there's not, Bret Hart doing a sharpshooter that we just say, we say sharpshooter and we think Bret Hart. We hear, certain things, figure four, we think Ric Flair. Like, it just doesn't seem like that's it. So I think I was having trouble trying to come up with the current list. I have no trouble coming up with the all-time list.
Right. All time is easy, right? But yeah, current list is, gosh, that is a good question. I'd have to go back.
So by the way, if anyone has any thoughts on that,
right,
hit in the comments.
Let us know.
Join our Discord server and chat with us. Because, by the way, we live chat through most television shows. Well, until, wrestling shows, except for, after it gets past 8:30 and AB falls asleep.
Yeah, my bedtime.
Luckily, he's central, so he does make it to the last hour of the show.
I do. I always make it to the last hour. I always make it there. No, that's good advice. Get on there. Let us know. Hit us up in the comments. Sorry, I was distracted, folks. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this show up. We want to thank all of you, yes, you, for taking the time to be with us today. You are super fucking cool. Please consider dropping an elbow on that subscribe button. And if you're feeling extra saucy, frog splash your way over to that thumbs up emojicon. We would certainly appreciate it. And please, share our channel with other people you think might like this sort of thing. It helps us grow. Besides, it's nice to share things with people you like, especially things you like, right? You can't go wrong. It gives us more things to do, and it gives you more content to watch. I think that's a good deal, don't you, kind man? Right. Once again, thank you all so much. We'll see you all right here next time on ABW Detonate. Take care, everybody.
Have a nice day.